we begin with the inspiration for this KELOLAND News special report. My own daughter, Emily. I thought she was the most amazing kid in the world. I was so proud of her. First of all, she was intellectually gifted. She was artistically gifted. She was athletically gifted. And I used to always tell her, you know, with so many gifts comes great responsibility, you know, to the world, to bring those gifts to the world. You know, so perhaps it's no surprise, since her birth was such a public thing, because I'm in the public eye, that her death is now a very public thing too. And I have to embrace that. I really can't hide from that. So I think it's best if I just tell my story and let everyone out there know what happened to my daughter, because I really believe it could happen to anyone's daughter. It can happen in any family. And it starts with addiction. It was soon pretty evident that the whole drug culture was really attractive to her, and I was really concerned as a mom. I mean, it's hard to know what to do. I really feel for everyone who's out there struggling with a child who has an addiction problem, because you don't know where to turn. And there's so much stigma surrounding this. It's hard to even talk to other people about it. Everything in my instincts, everything told me something is seriously wrong here. And we would see Emily quite a lot. She wasn't living with us. She was 21 years old. But the more time I spent around her before her death, the more alarm bells went off in my head. And so we hired an interventionist to help us get her into treatment. We met on a Saturday, and the intervention was planned for the following Saturday, and my daughter died on a Wednesday. We didn't get that chance. We didn't get a chance to get her into real treatment, to get her real help. And then when I found out what she had been doing, the cause, it was unbelievable to me. The fact that my daughter would be using heroin and needles, my beautiful daughter, who was very privileged, had every opportunity in life, you know, to have a great life, had gone down this road. And it was shocking to me. I consider myself a wordsmith. I write for a living every day. But there are no words to describe the devastation I feel at the loss of my daughter. There is nothing that can even come close to describe the grief and the sorrow and the pain and all of the loss of what she could have been, what if. And as a mom, I have a hole in my heart that will always be there. It is never going to heal. I have other children whom I love, and a husband and family whom I love, but nobody and nothing can replace the loss of my oldest child. And she was only 21. Happy birthday. Well, according to the autopsy reports, Emily had 6 times what would be considered a therapeutic dose of fentanyl for the largest man, and she was just a small young woman. She didn't stand a chance. I mean, that fentanyl killed her almost instantly after she injected it. Her chair sits empty at the kitchen table. I think that is when it really hurts. You know, I look across the table and there's her chair, and she's not there, and she's never coming back. It's the permanency of it. I was robbed of my daughter. I was simply robbed. No matter what happens to them, no matter who's charged or if anybody is charged directly with her death, while they say they know where she got it from, nothing will ever bring her back. She was a beautiful girl, and she deserved to live. And she deserved a chance to get help. And she engaged in risky behavior, but she didn't deserve to die. I've set up a fund called Emily's Hope, because I never gave up hope on my daughter. And I want her life and her tragic death to at least give someone else hope. By telling Emily's story and my story of loss and pain and suffering, I mean, I'm opening myself up. I'm being vulnerable to our audience in a way I've never been before. But I do feel it's super important I do that. Because if just one person hears me, if just one person does one thing to save a life, then I don't care about a million naysayers or a million people who don't understand. I just care about that one mother I can stop from experiencing the pain that I have.
The synthetic opioid fentanyl is leading the deadliest drug overdose epidemic in U.S. history. It's cheap, easy to get, and is increasingly being cut by suppliers into street drugs without buyers' knowledge.